In this culture, we're told to project a certain image. That disconnect really fueled an opening, right? I had to have all of my assumptions rearranged about life, about who I am, who other people are, how life works. Like, oh, we are not actually holding this intent together. Oh, there are people who don't have that coherence with what they're saying and what they're meaning. Wow, that's a very different thing. In India, at least in my family, we have very few filters. You know, you walk into someone's house and it's not uncommon to be asked, you know, how much money do you make? And we talk about religion, we talk about politics, we talk about, you know, our everything. We come, emotions flow, there's intensity, there's bickering, and then we go about our business. Like, what do you want for lunch? You know? And here, I think one of the biggest things that struck me was how everybody was really polite, but I couldn't feel them. I couldn't feel what they were meaning. And I'm very naive in that I will take what you say for face value. And it took me a long time to understand and start to read behind the lines of the underlying messages that weren't actually being spoken. People would ask me, do you have culture shock? And I would say no. But actually, that was the shock in the culture, but it was quiet. It was working in the background. It took years to recognize that what is being said, what is not being said, that there's a different layer operating beneath the surface. People would say, hi, how are you? And I would start to answer, and I would look, and they would have walked away in the hallway. And it was fascinating. I was like, wait, did I not get that? But that's just how we greet each other. We say, hey, how are you? And we move on. We don't stop to listen. When I ask people how they are, most people will say, oh, I'm good. And you have no idea what's actually happening, right? And then we wonder why we are so depressed and isolated and disconnected and anxious. We've lost touch with each other in that level, right? So that was a really big thing. And it fueled so many questions about the nature of relation, about the nature of, well, even projection, assumption, the things that I come with, the lenses that I'm wearing, that I'm seeing through, well, they're not valid. I'm missing what is. It's a whole multi-dimensional recalibration to say, oh, well, look at how it's operating here. It's different. Like starting to question the ways that I was showing up in a different culture, that I was being asked to. These are the questions that started really having me point my finger back to myself. Like, what is it that makes me nervous when somebody asks me a question I don't know something to? What is it that makes me look for something that may be not being offered in the culture? Or like, how am I showing up to create the experience that I'm having? What are things that I'm assuming? What are things that I'm missing? How am I constructing this? And then it got really interesting, right? Like then the puzzle started to reveal itself. The nature of relationship, the nature of thought. That actually fueled a lot of the inquiries. Yeah.